Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I will talk about should you play the Horus Heresy and why. So the Horus Heresy, you saw my first video on my channel. I told you how to get started, but I always see some people that say I've been lurking in heresy groups. I've been doing this and that in heresy groups. I don't know how to build a heresy army or anything, or I can motivate myself. And today I will tell you why you should start the heresy army you've always been talking about. So, first of all, the Horus Heresy game system was made to recreate the signature battles of the Horus Heresy. So that means the betrayal at Istvan 3, the betrayal at Istvan 5, the Titan death on Beta Garmin if you have Titans galore. Every battle that's in the book, basically, you can recreate with your army. If you want to have your Space Wolves be themed around the assassination attempt on Horus, so you want to have a Space Wolf Zone Mortalis force, then you can do that. If you want to have a Loyalist Iron Warriors force that defends themselves against the onslaught of Idris Krendel on Lesser Demantine, this is your game system to play. And it's also the best game system to do it. You see, when I started the Horus Heresy, I read the book The Hammer of Olympia. It's the Primarch book of Perturabo. And I didn't... This was like actually the first heresy book I've ever read. So I'm not that deep. I didn't follow the heresy from the beginning. And I started fairly late. So I started after the passing of Ellen Bly, I think. After book 7 was out. Not Malevolence, but the one with 1,000 Suns and the Space Wolves. But I read this story. And it was so amazing to me how just a normal Marine, like Barabbas Dantiok, the namesake of my channel, has so much character to just defy his Primarch and tell him that he did wrong and that he had the guts to say it in front of Perturabo, who is renowned to kill his sons if they don't fall in line. Then you have the awesome Ultramarine Tetrarch Toro Nicodemus being basically unmatched in swordsplay during the whole book, where he fights on, and it's just I can't describe it. It was so amazing. I had this feel of heroism and purpose in the Space Marines I've never felt before. Like in the Warhammer 40k books, the Space Marines are just these idols of the Imperium, these stalwart defenders without any human traits. Because the first book I've read was the one with the Black Templars on Armageddon. I actually don't know the name of the book right now. Black Reach? Hell's Reach. I think that's the name. Battle of Hell's Reach? I think. And Grimaldus was like, oh yeah, I'm a Space Marine. Humans are useless. And in Warhammer 40k, you have like, in Horus Heresy, you have those Space Marines who are either traitors, but most of them, not the Word Bearers. The Word Bearers are completely in with the whole chaos stuff. But you have like the Sons of Horus, for example. A legion I don't like that much, but who has also awesome characters, who struggle with the whole chaos thing at first. It's like you when you start with the Horus Heresy novels, it's like you start a developmental journey, a character developmental journey with your favorite characters from the books. And then there's this game system that supports it. So, if you are an asshole like Tybalt Ma, and you want to have his army, then you can have the army of Tybalt Ma hunting shattered legions. Or if you want to have shattered legions with Shadrach Meduson as your war leader, you can have that. Not, I think the Forge World range for Space Marines is so expansive. It's so not expensive, expansive, big. It's such a big range, and all the legions have so much character. A lot of people think when you play Horus Heresy, right? Oh, it's just legions. It's 18 legions against each other. But those people don't really understand. The legions have so much character. You see, you can... Of course you can just buy the plastic Space Marines, the Mark IVs or the Mark IIIs, and build your army with them. And nobody will bat an eye. Because you can't do that. But most of the Heresy players I've met, they put so much care and love into the Space Marines to tell a story. A lot of people think only because the Horus Heresy is a Warhammer historical, like my friend Leaky Cheese would say, you have no possibility of telling your own story. But this is wrong. If you've seen the army videos of mine, you can put so much awesome story into your army. You can play loyalist traitors. You can play traitor loyalists. I mean, for all I care, you can play traitor Iron Hands or Black Shields or whatever. You can tell your own stories. It's just within a setting, and you have to abide to some rules. But I mean, I like Warhammer 40k, and you saw some Warhammer 40k content on my channel. And I don't want the Heresy to compete with Warhammer 40k because they're two different game systems. But if you like the legions, the traitor legions in Warhammer 40k, and you want to see them at the height of their glory, you have to play 30k. You have to play Horus Heresy. Because that's a whole different spin on it than the Iron Warriors just liking demon engines, or the Word Bearers occasionally summoning a demon or something. That's like completely different. I don't know. You have these, and the game is bigger than 40k, even and 40k became even smaller now through 9th edition. That's not an indictment on 40k. How many models you use generally is not the way how to rate games. So if someone writes in the comment, oh yeah, you can only have 20 Primaris Marines in Warhammer 40k in a 2,000 point army, cut it out. But what's nice with the Heresy, for example, is you usually play 2.5k games, so 2,500 points or even more. And you have like something that was very uncommon in Warhammer 40k. You have like these massive battles because the legions were made for continental combat, for continental sieges and whatever. So you have like in 2.5k or 3k, you have 50 Space Marines on the board, 50 Space Marines, a couple of Sicarans, a super heavy tank. Maybe you have a Fellblade on the field. That's like, in Warhammer 40k, the Imperial Guard only gets Baneblades, but in Horus Heresy, the Space Marines have their own Baneblades. I mean, in Warhammer 40k, you would think that the Imperial Guard has the artillery platforms for the Imperial Army. But in Horus Heresy, the Space Marine Legions can have their own. You can have your Space Marine tank columns. There's Rites of War that lets you play an army, a motorized army, like mechanized infantry all over the board. You can have Rites of War where you basically only play tanks and flyers. You can have Rites of War with only dreadnoughts. where you have only dreadnoughts, and maybe a modificator console, um, or you bring your Primarch and a lot of deep and a lot of and and his bodyguard or something. I mean, I know this video is just me rambling about how much I love the Horus Heresy, but I feel like the community's in a bad spot right now, and we need to bring enthusiasm back into the hobby. Because the Horus Heresy is not a bad hobby. You shouldn't feel bad for playing the Horus Heresy. The support is not what it was once, but it's still there. There's a global pandemic going on. Of course, things are very slow at Forge World. Things are slow at GW themselves. Going back to why you should play the Horus Heresy. You have the Space Marine Legions at the height of their power. If you are interested in Space Marines, and you are confident with building and community, or maybe even already have a community, then you should play the Horus Heresy. Because it has the most amazing range of power armored soldiers that there is. I mean, and then if you don't like that, but also have interest in the Heresy, maybe you should play a Mechanicum army and have all the awesome automata and goofy tanks that they have. Tanks that look like medieval or Bronze Age triremes. Or if you wanna play the humanity's finest, the Sol Auxilia, with lines of las guns and trenches and bunkers and giant tanks. Or militia, where you just have hordes and hordes of human infantry that overwhelm the enemy with numbers. And maybe you can also play demons, but you shouldn't because they are broken. And there's so many ways to play this game. There's so many ways to tell your story. If none of the legions appeal to you for a painting scheme standpoint, you can still make black shields. You can still make black shields and homebrew a little story to them and tell your story through your models. And I mean, a lot of things you see on the internet tell you of a very grumpy and very negative Horus Heresy fanbase, but that's not generally the case. Most Horus Heresy players are very passionate about their armies. They love the game so much that sometimes if Forge World screws up, their feelings go through with them, and I can't fault them. There's not everything going like it was back in the day when Alan Bly was here, but the game is here to stay. And if you want to have an awesome collection of, in my opinion, the best power armor models, the best Space Marine range there is in GW or anywhere else on the planet, then you should at least give the Horus Heresy a try. It's such an awesome game. And I would hate to see more and more people just be negative on the internet about the game. I know a lot of stuff has been discontinued or might be going out of production for a long time now. But if we don't advertise the Horus Heresy as the Horus Heresy community, who does it then? Horus Heresy has always been a community-driven game, and this video is my love letter to the Horus Heresy. I love the Horus Heresy. I would tell you all, play the game, at least try it. Maybe use some of your old Space Marines to just get a feel for the game. Proxy them as a Legion army that you find cool. And if the Legion you want to paint, like Imperial Fists or White Scars, have a hard color scheme, just have the patience to learn the color scheme, how I did with my White Scars. I've been babbling on for over 14 minutes how much I love the Horus Heresy. and how much you shouldn't think it's dead. So, I mean, I love the game. Like, comment, and subscribe if you share my opinion. Um, Put it in the comments if you don't share my opinion. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join the Discord server. Thank you all very much, and goodbye.